Welcome to my channel. If you're subscribed to me, I have no clue why. And if you're new here, welcome. Today's video, we're going to talk about all of the books I read in December of 2021, and I'm going to give you kind of the gist of all of them and my opinion and review on them, and we're just going to talk about the books a little bit. So if you read these books, let me know your thoughts on them and recommend some books to me. That's generally in my category. I read a lot of young adult books and I'm super into like mystery, thriller type books. Here's all of the books in January and we are going to discuss all of them in the order I've read them. So with everything being said, let's jump into the video and start talking. First book I read in 2021 of December was You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen McManus. This book just came out. I got it the day it came out. Karen McManus is an incredible author. She does a lot of thriller young adult books, and this book was kind of unique because it took place in the same day, the entire book, which was very interesting. This book just is basically three friends who were super close and they skipped school one day and went to town and had like a fun day doing activities, and they all just kind of went their own separate ways, but they reconnected in high school when they were all standing in the parking lot and they all didn't want to go to school that day for different reasons. So they were like, hey, let's recreate this day, like we're all together again. And they witnessed one of the students' murders at their school. So super interesting, kind of cool. The plot wasn't as twisty as some of the books I've read from her, and it was a little bit more obvious who the culprit was, but also again it took place in one day. They didn't have a lot of time to figure it out. Pretty good. I would give it a 4 out of 5 star rating. I think anyone should read any of her books. I really recommend the One of Us is Lying series the most from her, but all of her books are pretty good. Next book, I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Literally so many people were reading this, especially the time I was reading it. I knew like 4 people that were reading this book. Super good. This book is about a girl named Pippa, and she is doing a class project and she's reinvestigating a murder-suicide that happened in her town 5 years prior of a boyfriend that went crazy allegedly and killed his girlfriend and then committed suicide. But she doesn't believe that happened, and she gets the brother of the boy who allegedly committed suicide, and he starts helping her, and there's a little bit of flirtiness going on in this book. Super good. I was on my toes. It actually was the only book I've ever read that actually kind of creeped me out low-key a little bit, but you constantly want to keep reading this book and figure out. I think I read this book in 3 days. It was so good. I recommend. 5 stars. I love Holly Jackson. Next book, Good Girl, Bad Blood. This is the second book in the trilogy. This book was also very good. She starts a podcast, so there's like a new theme going on, and one of her best friend's brothers goes missing. And she was very hesitant because you can kind of see the character go from such a goody two-shoes and very straight to the books to starting to get a little bit more edgy and starting to develop some mental health issues, but it's very interesting to see how the character changes. But she does accept looking for him because she gets very obsessive over cases, and this book had me also on my toes. I could not figure out any of the people who were the culprits at the end of any of these books, so super good. I'd give that one a solid 4.5 stars out of 5. Finally, I read As Good as Dead. This is the third and final book in the trilogy that is out. This is basically revolving primarily around her podcast, and there is someone stalking her, and she is putting together all of these little clues the person is giving her, and it winds back to a killer that is allegedly in prison. So either she's figuring out that it's a copycat or the killer was not actually caught and someone is wrongfully in prison. Such a good book. Such a good book. My favorite book in the trilogy is this book. And no one talks about this book enough. Everyone talks about the first one. So please read the series just so you can read this book. Insanely good. I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to give anything away, but such a good book. Oh, the ending. I cried at the ending. It was so good. 5+ stars. 6 stars if I could give it that. Next book, and the final book I read in the month of December, was The Obsession. This book I have not heard too many people talk about, but it was actually pretty good. It was more of a simple book, I would call it. Like, there wasn't a ton of plot twists. There wasn't a huge rabbit hole to fall down in. There wasn't a lot going on, whereas the other books I read had a lot of twists and turns going on in them. This one was a little bit more simple. So basically a girl named Delilah is just living her life at her school, and this boy who has a very obsessive personality, he runs into her and thinks they're like soulmates, and he is just known for kind of having this addictive personality disorder. And he gets very, very obsessed with her, stalks her, videos her, Googles everything about her. And she doesn't know yet, and they go on a date, and she thinks he's a great guy until a lot of stuff unfolds and he gets a lot of dirt on her. Honestly, I would give this like a 3.5 to 4 stars. I found it very interesting. It gave me a different perspective of books. I personally wouldn't read it again, but I think it was pretty good. So I would give it, yeah, 3.5, 4 stars. I think if you're looking for a good young adult book to read, I recommend this book. But yeah, that's kind of my opinion on it. This book is by Jessie Q. Sutanto? Don't know how to pronounce the last name. I've never read anything by her before, and I would say I was decently impressed. It's just a very, like, I don't know how to, I don't want to say simple, but like it just didn't have a ton of characters. It was kind of just more of like a straight to the point book. I just started this book. If anyone has any opinions on it, Murder Game. I'm literally 1 chapter in, so I don't really have much going. But I've heard some mixed opinions on it on Goodreads. A lot of people were kind of like half-half about it. Some people really, really liked it. Other people was like, this kind of sucked. So I'm gonna read it, and we're gonna see how I like it. I think there was a few books maybe by this author. I might be wrong. If you read any of these books, please give me your opinion on them. Give me your thoughts. I love hearing people's perspectives. And if there's any books kind of similar to the genre I am reading currently that you think I would enjoy, let me know. I have a lot of books on my Goodreads want to read list, but if I find any more books in the comments, let me know. I'll keep you guys updated on what I read in the month of January, and I will see you next time. Yeah, okay, bye.